Hello guys, let me provide a simple brief related to FIN5823 week 4 A1. Okay, this document, this task requirement speaks about three key risk analysis tools. Usually, as we are working on financial modeling, we say financial risk analysis tools. Okay, and those three financial risk analysis tools are scenario analysis tool, sensitivity analysis tool, and simulation modeling. Using these three models, we are supposed to perform certain analysis on a real company which you selected in the third in the week two, for last 2 weeks we worked on that particular company, or you can select any different company. I suggest you to go with this company that you selected because it makes your work unique. And most important part here is you are not required to create any Excel sheets here. Okay, it's a simple analysis document, but you need some sort of support from AI generating tools to understand the concept in a more better way, and which helps you to complete this document. So you start writing about financial risk analysis tools, then speak about three different tools that are there, and for each tool you will be completing these sections. So first you write introduction, next you mention about what are these three different tools, then you start writing about each tool separately in a separate section. Okay, so hardly it has you need to write 2 to 3 pages only. So my suggestion is follow the structure that I explained. It is okay even if you follow your own style of working on it, like explaining everything in one single go, like how scenario analysis does, but it won't help the reader to understand it properly. So simply you try to keep headings like introduction part, next discussing about the financial risk analysis, why it is important, like that you can write. Otherwise, straight away in small paragraph discuss what is financial risk analysis and how it can be done, then immediately start with scenario analysis and write these 3 points. Next, sensitivity analysis, write these points. Next, simulation modeling, write these points. Conclusion, references, done, paper is done. Now, how to address this one? I suggest you to use this prompt. So this is the prompt that I created, using which you can generate a proper information. Here you should mention your company name, and you should take your years, like for which years you generated that information, that should be mentioned here. Okay, so what I'm doing, trying to do, three financial risk analysis tools, scenario analysis, and our modeling we use on operating budget of, from the last week we created operating budget, right? Operating budget of XYZ company, of your company, for the years 2022. Now, what we are trying to do using this, explain how it helps businesses assessing financial risks. What it means, any tool, like any tool you selected first. For scenario analysis, how scenario analysis helps business to assess financial risk. Some example, quoting some example related to that one, and because of that example, what decisions it can support, and what assumptions it usually it involves, and what kind of outcome we can get. Like this we are supposed to create. When I gave that this sort of input to the chat GPT, it generated some sort of basic explanation like this. See, say for example, scenario analysis, it is providing what is scenario analysis, it is explaining that, then it is framing some sort of description. So you should explain it in a such a way that you proposed it, you created those scenarios. So scenario one, scenario two, scenario three, you took. In scenario one is, so you are not supposed to say best case, base case, worst case. The scenario is uh, when USD INR rate is 84. So you should explain the scenario, this scenario, and this scenario. Based on the outcomes you got, you will be deciding what is the best case, what is the worst case. Okay. So this is the base case, means it is a starting value. Okay. If you confuse, just review your previous work. I don't think you get confused. So rather than mentioning what is the best case, you will be explaining what is the scenario. second scenario, third scenario. Based on the scenario outcomes, you will be telling best case, worst case, and least case. So here, if you see at present, the company is having 80 rupees, 80 as a USD to INR exchange value, and if the revenue is growing at 6%, and when the value is increased to 84, revenue grows by 10%. When value drop to 75, it will be reduced. The scenarios is, what is the scenario if it grows to 84%? What is the scenario if it goes to 75%? Based on these scenarios, we can explain how much growth we are getting, and based on the growth value, you will be telling what is the best case and what is the worst case. Very simple. And what decisions it makes? Hedging strategies for investment. Like you can elaborate it. So you can elaborate and you can write about it. Okay. So what kind of assumptions it suggests us that you can discuss it from here. Similarly, sensitivity analysis. Usually, sensitivity analysis speaks about how when one value is changed, how the other value gets changed. Okay. Based on this, we will be speaking about sensitivity analysis. Here also we find some cases like EBIT. Assume this is assumption. Increase in 5% of cost. How it will be impacting EBIT? Increases 10% increase reduces EBIT. Like so, some sort of relationship is established here to understand how one value changes when other value change. That is what we usually call sensitivity. Okay, this also similar to the previous section. You just mentioned on what fields we can compare and what decisions we can make and what kind of assumptions we usually make before we work on such documents. Okay, need not to take exact values. Don't take, you not need not to, don't take exact values. So your show your work here. Okay, so this is how usually it is. It usually it should be framed. So make sure you frame your document properly and give examples like this. All right. So this is how we should write. After completing this one, include proper references and submit it. All right. So this is all about the document. It's a simple document. Make sure you write it properly. And at least you should provide three scholarly articles as a reference, and the work should be 2 to 3 pages, excluding title and references. Make sure your document is APA formatted. That's it from my side, team. All the best. Complete it.